Now on CoastTV News.
Well, it was an active afternoon on Delmarva as a cold front is pushing through the area. Skies are clearing. The shower and storm threat is coming to an end. I'm tracking a beautiful sunny end of the weekend and when we could hit 90 degrees for the first time this year. Coming up in my full forecast.
Georgetown Police scam what the town says impersonators are asking for. OC Jeep Week kicks off in Ocean City, where you can catch these iconic rides revving and reveling in the sun and sand.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
You're looking live into Ocean City with the sun coming out after an eventful afternoon of storms. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News at 6. We begin tonight with the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued earlier and what we will see for the rest of the night weather-wise. And we're going to throw it straight to our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono, for that. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Brandon. Yeah, it was a wild afternoon. And in fact, we've had double days of severe thunderstorm threats. You know, we had the tornado watch yesterday. Today, not much of a tornado threat, more of a general severe thunderstorm threat. And we saw those storms plow through the eastern shore and then make its way through most of Sussex County and then Ocean City. We had multiple wind damage reports, as well as multiple reports of pea to dime size hail. So we had thunderstorm damage here. We had gusts bringing trees down and wires down in Felton. As we pushed down to Houston, we had a report of near pea size hail there. To the south of Georgetown, reports of wires down on Pine Lane as that cell pushed through. And then as we pushed to the southwestern portion of the county, Seaford had reports of pea-sized hail there. And then just to the south of that, in Blades, we had reports of wires down with the trees down there. And then to the south of that, we had a report of more hail. And then even in Laurel, we had reports of wires down there from the trees in portions of Laurel. And that was all from that cell that pushed through Sussex County. And then multiple reports of hail in Ocean City as well as Berlin. So these storms really packed a punch. Now the front back off to the west is going to be pushing through. So our severe threat is coming to an end. Could see a random shower or two, but I think most of the evening is dry. In fact, a chilly night. We're going to dip down into the upper 40s away from the coast. And we end the weekend bright, beautiful, and breezy. Temperatures back into the 60s and 70s. Could see some gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour. And we say hello to summer-like temperatures as we go into next week. In fact, I think we're going to see our first 90-degree temperature of the season come next week. Now this evening, showers and storms ending, skies clearing, and the temperatures falling, as I mentioned, a chilly night ahead. We'll talk about the rest of your weekend and that summer-like warmth coming next week in that full 7-day forecast. Brandon?
Thank you, Chris. And on your screen now is footage from our first alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams of heavy rainfall earlier in Milton today when the severe thunderstorm watch was in effect. And now we're looking at the road conditions earlier. This video taken at 2:40 this afternoon, right in the middle of that severe thunderstorm warning. This on Route 113 between Georgetown and Millsboro, right near Governor Stockley Road. New tonight, the town of Georgetown is saying individuals are impersonating police officers to steal financial information or solicit money. Georgetown Police will never ask you for banking details or demand payment over the phone. If someone does, that's a scam. Stay alert, don't share personal info, and always verify who you're speaking with. Delaware State Police are reminding people of safety practices as they are saying spoofed phone scams continue. State Police say scammers are manipulating caller IDs to make it look like calls are coming from official state or government agencies. If you get a call from someone claiming to be law enforcement, ask for proper ID, then call your local troop to directly identify and verify them. Police will never ask for payments, bail, or court fines over the phone, especially not through electronic transfers. With still a few hours of sunlight today, the Ocean City Beach Patrol is temporarily easing surfing restrictions. They say you must wear a leash, stay at least 50 yards from swimmers, and always yield the right-of-way. If you can't keep that distance or move, you must stop surfing. Also, skimboards, kite surfers, windsurfers, and kayaks remain banned, and stand-up paddleboards with paddles are still not allowed. Staying in Ocean City, start your engines and drive over to the OC Inlet. That's where hundreds of Jeeps are gathering for the start of OC Jeep Week. With around 300 Jeeps driving around during the day at the sand course, and if you're there early in the morning, you can also see Jeeps driving along the Ocean City beach. From 12 to 5, vendors and more Jeeps will be at the inlet for you to enjoy. CoastTV talked with one local who's been coming to this event for 9 years and enjoys this event right in his backyard.
There's a lot of other Jeep events, other places you can go, but it's nice to do it when you're at home and support your local businesses and your friends and your families.
If you want to check out all the cool Jeeps yourself, OC Jeeps Week last day is tomorrow, June 1st. A funding decision could put the Ocean City Police Department in a tough spot. County leaders decided to not award a $1.4 million request from the town of Ocean City. The money would have been used to support the OC Police Department, which is entering its first summer without the seasonal officer program. Commission President Ted Elder says there were worries the town would make this request again next year, but Commissioner Joe Metrick says the reasoning does not make sense.
I pointed out it was a one-time grant in both budget work sessions. So to think that it was going to be continuing, and that's just an excuse anyway. I mean, we can next year, if they ask for it again, we can say no. And we said, hey, you said it was a one-time grant. It's a one-time grant. But I don't think Ocean City would have come back for that.
County commissioners still need to cast their final votes for this year's budget. That will happen next Tuesday, June 3rd in Worcester County.
Well, if you have any plans this evening, the good news is the shower and storm threat has come to an end. It will be on the breezy side as skies clear, temperatures falling into the lower 60s, but eventually the upper 40s tonight. We'll talk more about that coming up.
The ACLU requesting to block the Trump administration from using the Aliens Enemies Act to deport migrants. That and more political news next on Coast TV News.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
The ACLU has requested a federal appeals court to block the Trump administration from using the Aliens Enemies Act to deport migrants. Earlier this month, the Supreme Court blocked the Trump administration from moving forward with deportations under the 1798 law for a group of immigrants in northern Texas. The High Court sent the case back to the federal appeals court for further review. The Aliens Enemies Act gives a president a broad power to deport undocumented immigrants in times of war or when an enemy attempts an invasion. Oral arguments will take place in June. A federal appeals court ruled Friday that President Trump's mass firings at several agencies will remain on hold. In the ruling, the court said the Trump executive order at the issue exceeds the president's power under the Constitution. The court also wrote challengers were likely to succeed on the merits of their arguments that the layoffs were unlawful. The case was brought by federal employees unions and local government groups. The layoffs would have impacted nearly every cabinet-level department.
Well, after an active few hours there, we are seeing clearing skies here in Salisbury, 67 degrees, a pleasant, dry, calm evening with temperatures falling to around 60 by around 10. A chilly night ahead, but a warm 7-day forecast ahead. My full forecast is coming up next. Well, what a difference a few hours makes, right? We had some pretty potent severe thunderstorms that rolled through the area, primarily with a lot of hail. Right now in Ocean City, it's 62 degrees, sun is shining. Some folks taking in some late hours here on the beach, getting that last few hours of sun for that sunsets. And this was sent in by Joyce Faith, the Ocean City hail here. Look at that piled up there. It came down pretty heavy for a few hours there. And this photo was sent in from Seaford by Jessica Warwick. You can see that pea-sized hail on her sidewalk. And this was sent in by Stephanie Faust. Lewis storm cloud as those storms rolled over the Delmarva Peninsula. You know, we escaped most of the severe weather yesterday when we were under that tornado warning. But today, most of the severe thunderstorms packed the damaging wind threat as well as the hail. Now, the remainder of the shower and thunderstorm activity has pushed off the coast of Chickateague. Just a few stray showers there to the south of Crisfield, but we are drying out as the cold front back off to the west is going to be pushing into our area. So much cool, drier air. You can feel already outside, not as humid as where we were yesterday. Well, this big area of low pressure certainly meant business. It was a pretty powerful storm system for this time of year, pushing up towards Quebec. Cool, drier air filtering in. So temperatures, we were quite mild. Then we cooled that into the 50s as the storms passed through. And now we're rebounding a bit back to around 70 in Redden, 67 in Rehoboth as we get the last few hours of sunlight before the sun sets, 69 in Bridgeville, and we're at 62 in Ocean City. You can see winds, they've been pretty gusty today. We've seen some gusts upwards of 25, 30 non-storm related gusts. 20 in Georgetown. We're gusting upwards of 22 in Salisbury. So we shed the rain chances tonight and then really through most of next week. It's not until the end of next week as we're going to see a cold front move through, but we're in for a nice dry stretch of weather without any thunderstorm activity. So a clear night. Away from the coast, we dip into the upper 40s. Delmar, Seaford, places across the eastern shore, I think we'll see mid to upper 40s tonight as those winds subside. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. We say bye-bye to the storminess, hello to the sunshine, a breezy end of the weekend, and that sunshine is going to be in full force next week, and it is going to feel like summer, especially by the time we get to Wednesday through Friday. So wall-to-wall sunshine tomorrow. We'll see a few clouds roll in, a few cumulus clouds late in the day, but a beautiful day along the coast. 72 in Lewis. We'll see 69 in Rehoboth, 72 in Dewey, 71 in Bethany Beach. So Futurecast shows a few of those clouds moving through tomorrow evening, and then we are looking at just a marvelous start to the week. Mid-70s on Delmarva by Monday, and then we're only going to be warming up from there on out. So plenty of sunshine. Chickateague 72 as we gradually warm to 80 on Tuesday. Assateague, we're up to 68 on Monday with plenty of sunshine. Ocean City 68 Sunday and Monday, then we're up to 72 on Tuesday. Fenwick Island, plenty of sunshine as we roll back to 80 on Tuesday, and then things really get to warm up as we go into the middle part of the week. Lewis, plenty of sunshine for our Sunday, 72. Again, a bit breezy Sunday. Monday, the winds subside, plenty of sunshine, an absolutely gorgeous start to the week. And then there's that setup, kind of a classic summer setup. We'll see that Bermuda high just to our southeast, and then that warm, eventually muggier air is going to be building in, I think, by Thursday through Friday. 48 tonight, so a chilly night as those storms and showers come to an end. We're at 72 tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. Again, still on the breezy side. Could see some wind gusts upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour. Plenty of sunshine by our Monday is a marvelous start to the week, 75 degrees. 83 on Tuesday, and then there is that heat building in. I think we have a good shot of hitting 90 Thursday, 88 by Friday with a chance of some storms as a cold front moves through on Saturday. We'll be back with more news coming up.
News, Americans are tightening their wallet a bit more. Consumer spending rose 0.2% in April, below many analysts' expectations. It is a significant drop from the 0.7 point rise the prior month. Experts say the March surge was likely due to people buying big purchases like cars ahead of the expected tariff hikes from the Trump administration. If you're planning a solo trip, there's something you should know before booking that flight. 3 of the biggest U.S. airlines have been charging higher fares for solo flyers than those traveling in groups. According to the consumer travel website Thrifty Traveler, a recent investigation found this is happening on dozens of domestic flights one-way routes. Though it is not widespread, Thrifty Traveler said Delta, United, and American Airlines are all currently charging a so-called tax on single travelers on certain routes. Still to come, we have health news. A new study showing children's cereal are trending down with how healthy it is. But first, more than 256,000 pounds of canned beef stew being recalled. Find out why next. It's time to check your pantry. The Agriculture Department's Food and Safety and Inspection Service has issued a recall. Hormel Foods Corporation is recalling more than 256,000 pounds of canned beef stew products. According to the USDA, the 20-ounce metal cans of Dinty Moore beef stew may be contaminated with wood. The product was produced on February 4th, 2025, with a Best by February 2028 date. The items were shipped to retailers nationwide, and there have been at least 3 complaints of wood pieces in the product. However, no confirmed injuries have been reported. Staying in health news, looks like children's breakfast cereal is getting unhealthier. A recent study had researchers look at 1,200 cereal products that debuted in the U.S. between 2010 and 2023. The cereals were explicitly marketed to kids 12 and under. That compared to 2010, the study found protein and dietary fiber content in those cereals have decreased, while total fat per serving, sodium content, and sugar all increased. The study found the average amount of added sugar in a single serving of children's cereal is more than 45% of the American Heart Association's total daily recommended limit for children. We're taking a live look into Milford, and after the break here on Coast TV News, we have a final look at your weather.
Well, the storms are gone, and we're rallying with some late sunshine here on the Delmarva Peninsula. 70 in Lewis, but you notice the American flag. Winds are still blowing. It's going to be a breezy evening with some gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour as temperatures fall into the lower 60s by around 10. You get your forecast anytime by dialing our First Alert weather phone. Your 10-day forecast shows plenty of sunshine tomorrow and right through the start of the week. In fact, look at that. Summer-like temperatures are building, and I think, Brandon, by Thursday, we could see our first 90-degree temperature of the season.
Closer to 90 is what I like, Chris. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Be sure to join us tonight at 11. Until then, have a great night.